Just what I've always dreamed of. The studio to myself. Inside the Lair coming up next!
Now we tell the stories all about how our knights came in and pumped up the crowd. And we'd like to take a minute, just pull up a chair, tell you all about the week on Inside the Lair. Rehearse and rip up the stage, and our athletes work hard and know how to play. Singing out, working, drumming, all cool. You hear the bands and the choirs repping our school. When a couple of guys thought up something good, started making videos in our neighborhood. If you ever miss a game, don't get scared. Catch the recap with Kirby and Blair.
This episode of Inside the Lair with Kirby and Blair is brought to you by Cold Pockets. Has this ever happened to you? Man, I wish I could cook this Hot Pocket, but, well, I just don't have enough time. Well, look no further with the new Cold Pockets. Just take them out the box and eat them right away. Thanks, Cold Pockets. Who even has the 2 minutes required to cook a Hot Pocket? That's right, no one. So what are you waiting for? Head on down to coldpockets.com/notarealwebsite to get yours today. Alright, back to you, Kirby and Blair.
Thank you, Elliot Olson. You are the man, and we look forward to having you on our other shows coming up in the future. But welcome to Inside the Lair, everybody. It is Friday, October 5th. And it is a different type of atmosphere today as I am riding solo and no Blair today, but we can get the show going anyways. So last week, the girls volleyball team, they took on Byron on Thursday of homecoming and ended up getting a 3-1 win. And they now sit at 13-6 on the season, ranked number 6 in Class A. Let's take a look at how that game finished. Here we go. Byron with a serve. Over to our girls. Can't really tell who's getting the action here. Back row attack. And the back row attack seals the deal for the Knights. They went to the weekend tournament up in Blaine this past weekend as well. And they played 5 games, winning 4 and losing only 1. So they lost to St. Michael's Albertville. And they were the only team that was in Class A to compete in this tournament. And they finished 5th. With their only loss to the Knights from St. Michael's Albertville. And then on Tuesday of this past week, they beat Lourdes 3-0, which was a very special night as we had our young Knight volleyball players come in and show off their skills, showcase what they can do during the intermission between sets. A great way for the girls to come to the game, watch the older girls play, and just continue to build the culture and the environment that those volleyball players and volleyball teams want to have. So, good job to the coaches for getting that organized, and thank you to all the youth coaches as well. Your work does not go unnoticed. Let's see what they did this past week. After Tuesday, they didn't have any other games this week, so they went on a little team building extravaganza down to Air Insanity, and they they participated in some trampoline type activities, almost some American Gladiator competitions as well. I remember watching Turbo and whoever the other American Gladiators were, but Ellie Benson here looks to be taking the worst of it as she's fallen into the pit. I wonder who took her down, but it looks like some fun team building as well. And of course, Wind with a picture there. And Josie Quam down in the bottom right, showing, I don't know what that is, but anyways, just a fun atmosphere that the girls volleyball team has created. So, this next week, they go to Goodhue on Tuesday and then back home, I believe, on Thursday against Triton. Let's move on now. Football. Football really took a tough one on the chin this past week, losing 42-0. You heard that correctly, to the Cardinals from BA. This was a real head scratcher in terms of what happened. I am not sure. We came out flat, we came out uninspired, and played our worst game when we needed to have our best game, trying to snap a 2-game skid. But now our record sits at 2-3, and we go to play the Awesome Blossoms. Excuse me here, let me find the next picture. The Awesome Blossoms from Blooming Prairie. And let me tell you, they are as good as advertised. I know some of you may have heard of last year. They went to the semifinals in the state tournament before they were stopped, and their team was full of juniors that are now seniors. They are the real deal. They are 5-0, and they're ranked number 2 in Class A, and they average 46 points a game on offense. 46. That is incredible. And their defense is just as good, allowing only 6 points a game. Unreal. The Knights are in search of some offenses. Last week against Bethlehem Academy, they only had less than 100 yards of total offense. That just will not get it done, especially versus quality teams like the one we are playing tonight. 3 games in a row where our offense have struggled, and we will try to get back on track tonight. Let's take a look at some pictures over the game, though, against BA. Here's one where this is some great photography by Amy Raths here. Riley Horn getting in on the action. And it's just football is a physically demanding game. Let's go to our next photo here. Josh Schmidt on the carry. The Cardinals really were swarming us on defense. We just didn't have any answers. And we're really looking for somebody to step up and be our emotional leader on offense and defense. Here's another one. Looks like Bray Olson on the handoff. I believe Bray had the most rushing yards of our running backs this week. Actually, I think one of the Johnsons, Josh Johnson, might have had more. But there wasn't much on offense for us this week. Here's our last one. Owen Hilke there with some of the linemen. But if you take a look, the BA is on offense in this picture, and they have snapped the ball, rather, and only one of our linemen have fired off. It looks like that is Kevin Vasquez, who is doing a nice job of watching the ball, and our other defenders weren't quite firing off when the ball was snapped. Something we preach each week: watch the ball, go when the ball is snapped, and we hope to get back on track tonight. So let's clear off these pictures so we can move on to our next activity. Thanks again to Amy Rass for these photos. And the Knights season, they only have, 3 games left in the regular season. We go to BP tonight. Next week is home versus Medford. And then our final game of the regular season is a Wednesday in the middle of October at Goodhue. Let's go on to the soccer team, though. The soccer finished their regular season with an 0-7-1 record. They lost on Tuesday 9-0 to Rochester Lourdes. They did play last night against the Comets from Casson Manorville, but I did not hear a score. So the playoffs begin for them next week, and as a first-year varsity club, I'm sure one of their goals was to get their first win, and hopefully they can do that in the first round of the playoffs starting next week. One other thing to mention before I sign off: the fall play will begin practice next week. The auditions have already been completed, and the cast has been set. Next Monday starts practice for the fall play, which is led by Shane Eggerstead. And I think this year's fall play has something to do with Hallmark movies, so the kids have been telling me. So look forward to that in the near future. Anyways, for Blair, it's been real. Best episode you've done this whole 5 years that we've been doing this. But hopefully we get Blair back next week and we get back onto the Wednesday schedule. For Blair, I'm Kirby, and thank you to Elliot Olson and everybody that watches. And also, last week's episode had the most views of all time with over 600 views. Thank you to people for watching and supporting the show. And like always, go Knights.